Line's back on this turn.
It's on?
Okay, Mr. Ratajczak.
I mean, you have this old guy come up here today, I don't know his name, I have no disrespect to him, but this is what I said was gonna happen. You're gonna force the old people to move out of Saddlebrook, and the young people can't afford to move in here. And this is exactly what's happening. This guy should have been here last month when we gave out them raises, the $15,000 raises. But we didn't have money 3 months ago to hire police officers. Mr. DiMaria hasn't been here since that meeting, but I'm just holding that question for him to ask him. And this is exactly the example that's gonna happen here. These people cannot afford to live here. And why? Because we don't have control here. We just hand it out, give it out, do everything out. We don't have control. You have to tighten your belts up. Also, one other question while I'm thinking, what is the line item for the health benefits for the year in the budget?
Look that up.
Please. While he's looking up, you wanna keep,
No, I'll wait for that answer because my next question goes with it.
About 2.6 million,
How much?
about 2,600,000.
2,600,000, and approximately, not to, how many people does that cover?
Approximately,
107?
about 117. not the
117.
tenants, That's. employees, but-
Okay, so the benefits are a nice number per person, correct? Anybody have a calculator that they can figure that out? 2.6 million divided by, how many people?
117?
About
117. How much?
I'm sorry, it's
Oh,
117.
17.
Figure $24,000.
$24,000. So right up here sitting, look what's here for part-time people, and we couldn't hire cops. We couldn't hire cops. I mean, it's, you know, when employees complain what their salaries are, like Mr. Simaluka omitted, you've got to add their benefits and their pension. And that's what the person costs you per year. Her salary could be 40, her benefits are 24, and her pension, she's at 70,000 for 32 hours. You know what I mean? Where can I apply for the job? I mean, you gotta think about what we're doing, and they gotta know what they're getting. Maybe they don't appreciate what they're getting because they're so used to it. And the mayor, or criticize them for not, for the previous administration not giving them raises and punishing them, and then yet she hires the guy as a public safety director. He was the previous administration. And I mean, how many times was he hammered up here? Hammered, the previous administration, the previous administration, the previous administration. And who did we turn to now to straighten the police department? She ruined the police department when she was here the last time. The morale was in the gutter, okay? It got brought back up. And now where is it now? The morale is way, way down, and this is what protects us. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to be heard? Mr. Rodriguez. Please state your name. Sure.
Good evening. Omar Rodriguez, 275 Madison Avenue, former council president. First and foremost, I would like to just, I need a copy, Peter, of the resolution that the council authorized the county to use the building on Colwell Avenue, because I do not recall, and especially
There is
since
no resolution.
they said that, how did they authorize that?
I authorized the mayor and council were aware.
Just Councilman Similuka just said it before, we did.
Well,
So
brought
when
it
he
up
said we
already.
did, is the
There's no
council. How
resolution.
did it happen?
There's no resolution.
So how did you authorize? So now it's working just by word of mouth? When you sit up there, when you sitting up there, none of you have the power to just say it verbally. It have to be put in a way of a resolution.
It's how we do it. The
I'm
fire
just-
department, the ambulance corps.
I'm
But
just,
continue. I don't wanna
I'm
take your time.
just Council President, just for the record, when you guys said it, that we authorize just to avoid any liability in the future, any authorizations have to be in paper, in document, for any potential liability. Otherwise, the town will be sued. Just to answer one of the questions real quick, since you didn't provide any answers or any bold idea on how much money we're losing on Colwell Avenue. Well, it used to be a business. When it was a business, it was between $20,000 and $30,000 a year. Since it was empty for a few years, so most likely the rate of taxes right now is $18,000 to $20,000 there per year. That's what we're losing right now. But anyhow, moving forward with this, I will say that for many years we've been saying that we should improve the quality at least of the audio. right here. The people at home cannot hear. The audio is very bad. We have people that actually deserve a lot of credit for putting the time and effort right here, but we have to give them the equipment. When the people receive it at home, it's not the best. If you can consider that. Then also, I would like just to say that we just recently bond over $2 million to pay for tax refunds on Part 80, which will cost the town $58 per year per taxpayer for the next 7 years. We buy new phones for $120,000. We're buying computers. We're buying different things. We're giving pay raises of $15,000, $12,000, $13,000, which in some cases represent a pay increase of 40%. The gentleman that just appeared right here, that should be the priority. Every single taxpayer in Brook. I believe that your duty is not just to try to do what is best for certain people, but actually what is best for the majority. On Tuesday, last Tuesday, I posed also a question, Council President, to the attorney. And I hope that I have an answer tonight. And I said it, that if Colwell Avenue property is not developed, also next year, if it's any close under the seller's contract or the county contract, if we can get our money back. Can I have an answer through the chair?
I don't think I understand the question. Your money back for what?
For the property itself, the $850,000 that we pay.
The township owns that property. You're not getting the money back for what you paid. There's an agreement that was made with the county for the development of that property.
Once again, I don't know if you spoke to your partner, but on Tuesday posed the question that if we don't get the funding from or the county doesn't get the funding to develop the property on Colwell Avenue, who is going to hold the tag? Because the county is using it right now, but who is going to hold the bag on that $850,000 if we don't get the funding, or if they don't get the funding, and that property do not get developed? So there is no answer. Okay, excuse me.
No,
Let me just move to question 3.
There is an answer, Mr. Rodriguez.
No, I'm just saying, just 1 second. Let me just move to answer 3 because
you want an
I'm just gonna go,
answer to the
no,
question
no
or
now,
not?
because you're thinking too much, and I guess your partner haven't implied to
All
you
right,
what.
let me give you an
hold on.
answer to the question.
Number 3, Council President, in hindsight,
You don't want
also.
an answer to the
excuse-
question,
no,
Mr. Rodriguez?
No, now.
You don't
just-
want an answer,
No,
not
now.
now.
Council
So,
President,
ask for an answer, but you don't
on
want it.
Tuesday,
Okay.
on Tuesday, I also asked the business administrator about the 2 crossing guards by A&P, right? And I was told that they were working on that, that they will get an answer. In hindsight, I was just thinking, why do I have to wait for another month in order to get an answer if already that road, Mayhill Street, has been dedicated? That should be part of the contract. That should be part of the dealings that happened when the town obtained the road. So if it took 2 years to collect the money in arrears for those 2 crossing guards, the question is, and it should be at the time, what is going to happen from here on? So I don't have to wait another month. I think that should be part of the paperwork that has been done. Can you answer me?
Rich, can I just say one thing? You are aware that they haven't been paying since 2006.
The last I heard is that you just collect.
aware of
No,
that? Are
no,
you
no.
aware of that?
The last I
Since
just heard is
2006.
that. The last I heard is just that they were collected 2 years.
So in 2006, they weren't getting collected.
Listen, I have the floor right now.
Okay.
Listen,
Why don't we do this, Omar? I don't want to take up your time. Ask the questions, we'll write
All
them
right.
down, and then we'll try to answer the best.
all right.
we
now,
can.
yeah, the
So we
question
don't
is
take
simple.
up
Yeah,
your- so we
if
don't
in
take
the
up your time.
if in the future we are going to continue receiving payments or not, or maybe it's over, so maybe we're not gonna get paid, so at least we know, so it's on the budget properly, that we don't have to count on a third party monies in order to overcome that money in the budget. So we just gonna have to budget from the town. That's basically the simple question. And also, moving on that, I would like to also ask, on, not too long ago, we rehire DPW employees. Nothing against them. We question if it was the proper thing to do at a cost of $500,000. We were told that we will need them for the leaf season. My question is, if we have enough manpower, why are we cutting services? Why are we telling the residents to pick up their leaves and put in bags? They basically, you call somebody, they say you have to put in bags, you call somebody else, oh, I didn't hear. The problem is this. When things like this happen, that the public have to pick up their leaves and put in bags and whatever, I believe that if that is have to happen, I believe that it should be some kind of plan B to help, especially the seniors, to help them with that. That's an idea, but I don't think that if it's true, what's going on, I don't think that the senior residents should be out on the street. Now, since I'm gonna have to cut it up there because I don't have much time left on one of the items that I have right here. And I see under the budget transfers that there are two budget transfers, one for $9,000 for police under other expenses, and there is another one for $80,000 for police overtime. Before I move on to that one, I just would like to just have a yes or no question, if possible, from the mayor, because I know that all the council members have said it publicly right here that they do not support, they are in support of eliminating the position of deputy chief of police if and when Deputy Chief White decide to retire. So I would like to ask to the chair, if possible, to the mayor, if she is in favor of eliminating that position when Deputy Chief White leaves, yes or no?
You want an answer now?
Yeah, yes or no, if you are in
I
favor.
have no comment, Mr.
Okay,
Rodriguez.
no problem.
For the
All right,
record.
Mayor, that's fine. Okay, since Mayor just said a no, right? More than ever, it becomes.
believe no comment is no. What don't you understand between yes, no,
Mr. Council
no
President, who's
comment?
running the
Okay,
meeting right here?
okay.
Who's running the meeting?
Then let's,
Don't mince
like
my
I said,
words.
you wanna ask the questions, we'll answer them at the end.
He asked for my answer immediately.
That's what-
Council
Yes,
She gave you
President.
He
no
was-
comment. She gave you the no comment, so listen, at this time, ask your questions, we'll answer them at the end when it's up. I don't wanna
The
take up
reason-
your time.
The reason why is that she wasn't present at that day, when the issue came up. And the reason why I have to ask the question is because you're gonna prompt me into my next question about the ordinance. Why you guys didn't wanna put together one ordinance in advance before he retires? That once, if he retires, that position should be eliminated. And this is why, and that's the reason why I was trying to ask the mayor, but I actually accept her not comment. But it goes again with the $400,000 overtime in 2012. 2012 overtime was $400,000. Okay.
Okay.
In 2013, it
Okay.
is projected.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Hold on just one second.
I'm
Council
gonna-
President,
I gotta
let me
cut you
disagree.
short.
Is she gonna call the meeting? She gonna give you the orders when to stop the meeting?
Nobody's giving me
No,
the
no,
orders.
that's what she's giving you the signal.
No, she's not.
Sir,
No,
you
she's
just
not.
interrupt me my time, so why don't you just give me a few more seconds? On Tuesday, you allow me actually to ask the attorney, to ask an extra question. You gave me extra time.
That's
Why
right.
not? Why not now?
That's up to my decision as council president.
You guys are just changing words, taking out my time, and actually I cannot even
Because you're
follow the
asking the
question.
questions. You are asking the questions.
She couldn't answer, and she wanna interrupt me. Why she gotta give you the signal? Actually, you
She
are
didn't
the
give
one
me a
that.
signal.
Yes.
She
Why
did
don't you
not.
just let me elaborate and just finish the question?
You're done. Mr. Rodriguez, you're done. Thank you. You're done.
I wasn't gonna talk about your son, Mr. Council President, about the job of your son. I was just gonna talk about police department.
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, you're finished.
So I see where, well, of course, you gotta just pay the favor. That's what it is.
Stop, Mr. Rodriguez.
That's what it is.
Okay.
That's more obvious.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Anyone else like to be heard?
Motion to close.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Rich, can you please have order? I mean, talking
Yeah.
from the back, we should be respected up here. People want respect at the podium. They should at least respect us up here at the same time by not speaking out during the meeting.
Mr. Rodriguez is leaving, and I would like to make a few comments
Sure.
back. whether he would like to stay, but obviously not interested. And I plan to make some comments that we had another resident come up, Mr. Ratajczyk, to speak. When I made any reference to former administration, please be aware, and I'm advising the public, I came in as mayor and I let go of an administrator that was paid over $140,000, who was the person responsible running for this town. So anything that was not done properly, that reference is to that person who is no longer here and not in reference to the former mayor. I've been in that seat, been blamed before. I understand, that's why I refused to do it. Now, this evening we had a gentleman up here stating his increase in taxes. At the same time, I am hearing from the public audience that decides to attend that we obviously are unqualified in the financial world. We need more police officers. We need improved equipment. We need fire trucks. But yet we don't know how to control and spend the money. Well, I'm just going to repeat this as I've repeated it to the public before. This administration, all these council people, with the exception of our newest member, were aware. Deficit in the water, 1.5 million in debt, 2 years working very hard, state review. Were any of us at that point in time going to be hiring new people? I don't think so. We had to see a clear picture from the auditor. Into the 3rd year, we have made it. We have those police going out. We have, in reference to the bond issue, Tuesday night, tonight authorizing $156,000 for new computer equipment for the safety of this community. So for me to be accused as mayor that I personally brought down the police department, I resent that. I'm working with Mr. Darminio, with the chief, and we're moving forward. And if that budget next year comes in over cap, after I put more police on and I have to take it away to stay in cap, that's how the government operates. When it comes to the fact about the leaf pickup and the hiring of DPW, I received a letter from Mike Calderon today commenting, and the comments were from the men DPW. In the future, every town will be having to use leaf bags. We chose to jump on the bandwagon earlier for one main reason. We haven't been able to dredge the river on the flooding. We're in a normal routine of cleaning the storm drains. The leaves go out, run down the roadway to the storm drains, and if those leaves weren't in bags this year, we would have been in trouble in our drainage because of the heavy rains that we had. The town is cleaner, the town is safer. And we will continue with the program, Barrels and Leaves. And there are many youth out there willing, from the church groups to the scouts, willing to help seniors. Now, when it comes to the crossing guards and the A&P, we have a former council president that speaks to the public about the 2 crossing guards at the A&P. Well, I came in as mayor, and with this council, he was no longer part of the township council, but for the years he was here, he paid no attention for this town to get the monies that were owed Saddlebrook for crossing guards. So don't criticize us when you ignored the monies that should have been coming into this town. And then, when I mentioned to this council, what happened? Why don't we have the money? That's when our former attorney, who's now the judge, went into litigation with the A&P. A&P went bankrupt. We're working through it, receiving monies, and you can bet that when any new operation decides to come, whether it be before this board, the planning board, or the zoning board, I will be the first to make sure that they fund another crossing guard, because I am pro-safety in this town for the people, the crossing guards, and the children. I'm tired of hearing about that because it's not a truth at all. Planning for the future, I think we had performed for the future. After getting thrown the snowballs of the financial deficits, third year came, we're planning for the future. And most of you people aren't interested enough to find out what those plans are because you're too busy criticizing and trying to make us appear to the public we don't know what they're doing. But we do. Now, to add something, because I was going to save this for closing, but since I have the mic, I have been in touch on a community rating system, and this regards those people that have to pay flood insurance. About a year ago, I spoke with the former building inspector of Rochelle Park, very familiar, very well certified, Richard Boland. He came in and spent about 2 hours with the council to help us along to understand about this rating system. Well, it was important then, and it's most importantly now, because as everyone I'm sure has heard, or those that have to pay flood insurance, that FEMA is increasing everyone's rate. And that rate is going up rather quickly, rather highly, and frustration lies in that we don't have an answer about the Marcellus Bridge. We have no answer from Army Corps of Engineer. We have nothing yet. And I'm reaching out to every one of those elected officials very shortly, as soon as everybody gets re-sworn in and newly sworn in. Anyway, Pete Ladico, as the administrator and my own EM, went to a meeting, and I had a conflict. They brought me back the information. We had our meeting. It was discussed in the past, we are going to be qualifying our building department in order to help save money. There's a plan book of points. Saddlebrook is point number 10, because no other former council people were interested enough to check into this. So we have reviewed this, and I can tell you elevation certificates, our building inspector will be going to classes that qualify for points. Map information providing flood insurance rates, we'll be working on that. We already qualify under an outreach program, which means communication through the web, the TV, Nixle, and into reverse 911. Flood protection information into the public library community website. We provide that on the website, so we're qualifiable. Flood protection assistance, inquiring property owners technical advice on how to protect themselves from flooding. That we've done. We've had the sandbags. We've done cleaning the streams, the debris, as much of the river as we can. Into the future, we'll be getting additional flood elevation maps through the EMO. Open space preservation, we're working on into the future. Flood data maintenance, that we have been doing, maintaining elevation marks, stormwater management, drainage system maintenance, and flood warning programs. So even though we're on a scale of 10 in the point system, if we bring it down to 9 or 8, it could realize a savings of, it doesn't seem like much now, but when the bills come in, $58 to $85. And every year, as we get to the bottom of the points, right now premiums are about $554,705. That's at point 10. If we get to point 1, that's going to be a reduction almost of 50% to $225,000, which will mean to a homeowner that's a $694 saving on their flood insurance. So we're busy out there working, not just for the police department, not just worrying about leaves. not bantering and being disrespectful. We're working to move this town forward. Thank you.
Mr. Conti, not to prolong it, unfortunately, the individual who was present before did not want to stay for an answer to the question because although I don't think he was able to articulate it quite well, I believe what his question was. When we're speaking about Caldwell Avenue, that property was purchased with affordable housing trust funds that were maintained by the township. Yes, the property is off the tax rolls. Yes, various resolutions were entered into and agreements with the county for development of that site. There is a lease which is contingent upon the ability to obtain financing. That financing package has been submitted to Housing Mortgage Finance Agency for approval by the state. If that financing does not occur, they have the ability to go to other sources of financing, or they have the ability to terminate the lease, which is something that was discussed at previous meetings and other presentations before this council. If that does occur, there are other options. That property is owned by the township, but it's also been designated for affordable housing. So there must be some other mode of affordable housing to be dealt with on that site if there's not financing. But that's something we will know about in the calendar year 2014. Going through my recollection on that property was assessed, I believe, roughly $3 million, roughly around $3 million. It was reduced below $1 million when the facility stopped operating. My estimate of the taxes on that property were probably around $10,000 to $12,000 a year, but I'll have an exact number at the next meeting. I mean, that's basically where that is at.
That old man was paying for it.
Rich, through the chair, I just want to comment on something, please.
Sure.
Okay, it has to do with the health benefits. I just want to clear it up here because I don't want to be mistaken. I do not receive health benefits, okay? Okay, I just want to clear that up. I want to speak for myself. Thank you.
Counterparts took care of that.
Rich, could we please have non-participation from the audience since it's not open to the public?
Yes, you're right, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Mr. Allen.
Mr. Ratajczyk, please, now.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to ordinances, please.
Ordinance 1564-13, an ordinance of the Township of Sanibel, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, compensation of employees, servants, and professional staff, which in this case is blue-collar workers, for second reading.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Halpern.
Second.
Second by Mr. Camilleri. Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Councilman Alco.
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri.
Yes.
Council President Conti.
Yes.
An ordinance of the Township of Sanibel, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, compensation of employees, servants, and professional staff.
I need a motion. Motion by Mr. Halpern.
Second.
Second by Ms. Mazer. All in favor?
Aye.
This is now open to the public, this ordinance 1564-13. Anyone like to be heard?
Motion to close.
Seeing none, need a-
Second.
Second by Mr. All in favor?
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Sanibel that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the Township of Sanibel, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, compensation of employees, servants, or professional staff, blue collar, does now pass on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Roll call, I need a motion, please.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Halko. Any second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Simaluka. Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Councilman Halco.
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri.
Yes.
Council President Conti.
Yes.
Ordinance 2 is ordinance 1565-13, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 120 entitled Licenses of the Township Code of the Township of Sanibel by amending therefore Section 120-5 License Fees for second reading.
I need a motion
Motion.
by Mr. Camilleri.
Second.
Second by Mr. Simaluka.
Councilman Samaluka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Councilman Halco.
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri.
Yes.
Council President Conti.
Yes.
An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 120 entitled Licenses of the Township Code of the Township of Saddlebrook by amending therefore section 120-5, license fees.
Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Camilleri. Need-
Second.
Second by Mr. Samaluka. All in favor?
Aye.
This is open to the public. This ordinance 1565-13. Anyone like to be heard? Seeing none, I need a motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Halco, second by Ms. Mazer. All in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Southbrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 120 entitled Licenses of the Township Code of the Township of Southbrook by amending therefore Section 120-5 license fees is now passed on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Samaluka, second by Mr. Halco. Roll call, please.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Councilman Halka?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes.
Ordinance 3 on the agenda is ordinance number 1566-13, an ordinance amending Chapter 196 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Section 43, entitled Schedule 10, Stop Intersections to include Steinway Road and Dewey Avenue for a second reading.
Need a motion. Motion by Mr. Samaluka. Need a
Second.
Second by Mr. Camilleri. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
An ordinance amending Chapter 196 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Section 43, entitled Schedule 10, Stop Intersections to include Steinway Road and Dewey Avenue.
I need a motion.
Motion.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Halco. All in favor?
Aye.
This is now open to the public. 1566-13, stop signs. Please state your name and address.
Larry Tychek, 92 Claremont. I know you are trying to solve that problem there, but it seems every time we have that issue, the only thing you're doing is moving it over one block when you make them the one-ways and everything. And the other thing I want to bring to your attention, I wanted to tell you before, maybe Mr. Samaluka could help out with this, being that he's an attorney. Them stop signs that you have by your house. When you put two stop signs on a two-way street, if the person is not from this area, they're under the understanding that that's a one-way street, and they're gonna go into that left lane and make a left turn there. The stop sign belongs to the right-hand side of the road in a two-way street. You cannot put two stop signs. You know what I'm saying? How you have them? If
Yeah.
you're from out of town and you're driving down Plaza Road,
Yes.
you see the stop sign on the left-hand side of the road, what does that give you, that it's a one-way street? Okay, and you're gonna make a left there, you're gonna get in the left lane and you're gonna stop at the stop sign and make a left-hand turn. Just check it out, you know what I mean, because I'm pretty sure that that's only allowed on one-way streets, stop signs on both sides of the street.
Thank you.
Do you know anything about that, Mr.
It
Sullivan?
used to be that stop signs had to be approved by the DOT, but
Right.
at some point that jurisdiction was given over to the towns. I don't know
Right.
of any.
But I know
prohibition
if
against
you're
that.
on a one-way street, they will put stop signs on both sides of the street, right-hand side and left-hand side. If you're on a two-lane street, maybe Mr. Costa can help you with that.
Yeah,
The
'cause
stop
I'll
sign
look into
belongs
it.
on the
I'll look
right-hand
into it
side.
tomorrow. If
Excuse
it
me?
is- I said I'll look into it tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow,
if
but
it
I
is.
am pretty sure that is the way it is.
There should be, from that intersection, from my recollection, we put a stop ahead sign should be there,
Mhm.
200 feet before the intersection, and a stop sign, but maybe another sign went up to try to.
There's a stop sign on the left-hand side. I mean, I know you talked about the speed bumps or whatever. Fairlawn just put them on Bel Air Avenue. And if you want to go look and see, they do work over there. They put two in that road.
Rob,
Thank
so
you.
if you could contact them and see if they milled and paved and what kind of speed tables they had. Remember, not humps, tables. Major difference.
Just on the speed humps, everybody received my email with the quote from the company, about 3 weeks ago?
Oh,
The
yeah,
cost of them.
yeah, I didn't like those.
All right.
Those are the
I
ones
mean,
you have to remove.
those look like those were like almost like temporary, and
Yeah.
they had a limited lifespan, and you couldn't plow with them.
Yeah, but just so, I mean, just to give you a rough idea.
I like more of the speed table. Okay. I need a motion to close.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Halco,
Second.
second by Ms. Mazer. All in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Soundbrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending chapter 196 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, section 43, entitled Schedule 10, stop intersections to include Steinway Road and Dewey Avenue, is now passed on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Mazer,
Second.
second by Mr. Similuca. Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Councilman Halco?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes.
Ordinance 4 is ordinance 1567-13, an ordinance amending chapter 196 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, section 49 entitled Schedule 16, prohibited turns at intersections to include additional intersections for second reading.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Mazer,
Second.
by Mr. Similuca.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Councilman Halco?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes.
An ordinance amending chapter 196 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, section 49 entitled Schedule 16, prohibited turns at intersections to include additional intersections.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion on the public.
Motion by Mr. Halco, second by Ms. Mazer. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
1567-13 is now open to the public. Anyone like to be heard, please step up to the podium. Seeing none, I need a motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Halco, second by Mr. Camilleri. All in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Soundbrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending chapter 196 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, section 49 entitled Schedule 16, prohibited turns at intersections to include additional intersections, is now passed on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
I need a motion.
Motion to pass.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Similuca, second by Mr. Halco. Roll call, please.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Councilman Halco?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes.
All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion.
Well, Peter, can you remove 2 and 3 from the consent resolution agenda?
Sure. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or member so requested, in which case the item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. One motion signifies adoption of all resolutions, receive and file letters, correspondence, reports, and approval of minutes and applications. We have removed resolutions 2, 3, and 9.
I'll make a motion with 2, 3, and 9.
I'll second it.
Second by Ms. Mazer. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2 is to authorize the renewal of liquor license Neon Anish Inc. for 2012, 2013. That's an inactive liquor license.
Can I just ask you a question, Peter?
Sure.
Is that the IGA on?
Yes.
That's the
The
IGA,
beer.
okay, that's the corporate thing, okay.
Yeah, there was, had to get
Sorry.
approval from the state before we could renew it.
I need a motion.
I can make a motion.
No?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Alva. Second?
Second.
By Mr. Camilleri. In favor?
You went through roll call?
We'll do roll call.
Councilman Samuka?
Abstain, I believe that, actually, I know I represented the principal in that corporation in the past, so I will abstain.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Councilman Halco?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes.
We have resolution, with the same corporation for the liquor license renewal for 2013-2014.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr.
I'll
Halpern,
second it.
by Ms. Mazer. Roll call.
Councilman Samuka?
Abstain for the same reason.
Councilwoman Mazer? Councilman Halco?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes.
And we have resolution number 9 is to approve payment of bills for Costa Engineering.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Halpern,
Second it.
by Ms. Mazer. Roll call.
Councilman Samuka?
Abstain.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Councilman Halco?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes.
Just quickly, through the chair to Brian. Tuesday night, we have a letter from the police chief concerning 2 handicap parking. We introduce, if the council wishes, introduce the ordinance by title tonight.
This is for parking spaces on the street?
Yes.
Certainly, you can introduce it by title.
The only reason I'm saying that is we can do it on the 30th. Otherwise, we'll have to wait till January, and start the process.
You mean you want to
Council
show up
wishes
on the
to-
30th?
Not really,
Okay.
but it's up to the council if they want to introduce the ordinance.
You can, I'm okay with introducing it.
You have the, just introduce by title,
Yeah.
provide for handicap parking space at whatever the address is.
Yeah, well,
You have the address?
okay.
We have the correspondence. Okay, the next order of business will be introduction of an ordinance to amend the schedule for handicap parking in 290 Rochelle Parkway, 190 North Fifth Street, for first reading.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Halpern, second by Ms. Mazer. Roll call.
Ms. Samuka,
Just, if you can, before the next meeting,
get the
that I
information.
brought up about the, what are the procedures for that? If, some areas, and I don't really know in particular this area, but in some places, like on the number streets, this is Fifth, where parking is very, very tight and there are no driveways, that there would be taking up a space is taking up a space. But if you have a driveway for that particular person, and it's somebody who owns the house and has access to the driveway, does that play into consideration for when they ask for and whether they're granted a parking stick? I don't wanna take away a space, but again, if they are authorized or allowed to park in the driveway, and that may be more accessible for them to take up a street parking space, I just don't know what the conditions are for approval. So if you could check into that?
Typically, what happens, Mr. Simaluka, is that there isn't that driveway parking available, and therefore you are creating the space in front of their residence for a handicapped person to utilize.
Well, the reason I bring it up is that unfortunately the man passed away, but 2 doors away from me, somebody got the parking space, which was wonderful. And he had a driveway which basically went empty, and he parked on the street, and he had the biggest truck ever created in the world. And it was halfway out, and he always parked kind of on an angle, and man, at 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, when everyone's trying to drive their kids to school, it really caused a problem. I just don't know, I'm not against it, I just wanna know what the criteria is when we pass it.
Yeah, the space is designed for, let's call it convenient accessibility. And therefore, if you have a driveway, there's no need to designate a space. Typically, you find these in more urban areas where there are no driveways, or in streets where there aren't driveways.
And hopefully they'll remove that because, from my block, because it's not necessary anymore, unfortunately.
Well, typically, some communities require an update every year, every 2 years to verify that the space is still necessary too.
So Pete, check into that.
Sure.
So yes?
Yes.
Okay, we're roll call.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Councilman Halco?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Southbrook that the ordinance amending handicap parking is now passed on first reading, and that a public hearing be held on the 30th day of December, 2013, at 7 p.m., or sooner after this matter may be reached at the municipal building, 93 Market Street. Not bad for Wayne.
No. I need a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Baser, second by Mr. Halko. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Well, on to old business.
I just have some, I guess it's under old business, the police department and the hiring of police officers. Okay? Just wanna let the public know, we're in this boat that we're in today because a lot of police officers were hired in the same year. Now, if we had done the same thing, hired 5 or 6 police officers, 25 years from now, we are gonna put the township in the same boat we are in today. Because 5 or 6 police officers are gonna retire at once. And what do you do at that point? That's why we need, as a council, we need to take a step back and say, okay, well, we'll hire 1 or 2 and go in that progression. Because if you hire 5 and 6 at once, all new employees, well, in 25 years, they all could retire at the same time. There's no guarantee that they are gonna retire after their 25th year, but they can. And again, the town will be in the same predicament we are in today. We're short on police officers, everybody knows that. And we're trying to do the best that we can with what we have. So that's my comment. I mean, it's just, you know, we get beat up here. We know, we're trying to do the best we can. And some people don't appreciate that, so that's what I have to say on that.
Any other old business comments?
Yeah, I have a comment on old business. Tuesday, I had asked Mr. Mulstock on our tax appeals, trying to see where we're at and if we did have any big outstanding ones. Mr. Jakowski, I don't know if you
There-
could comment on that, just to clear all the air.
The large outstanding ones have all been dealt with. Going into 2014, there appear to be 8 cases remaining from the 70 that existed 3 years ago. Of those 8 cases, 3 or 4 are settled. So you will be, well settled going into 2014. Most of your commercial properties have appealed, your big ones have been dealt with. So for the next few years, you should hopefully never have to buy.
Okay, thank you.
And you will also be receiving a formal report of which are still outstanding.
Okay, thanks.
And just a question to Brian. LaGregne Street, I believe the old nursing home there was purchased by a nonprofit foundation. Now, a nonprofit, they do not pay taxes?
Not necessarily. In order to qualify for a tax exemption, the mere ownership in and of itself does not mandate the township to exempt them. It must be put towards an exempt use. So a hospital can buy a piece of property. If it's vacant, they don't get an exemption. If the hospital puts it to a use, medical facility, surgery center, then you have the activity that would exempt it. Same thing, churches can go out and buy 5 pieces of property. If they don't use it for church-related purposes, then it's not exempt. Also, in order to get an exemption, that property owner must file with the assessor an application for an exemption which sets forth that, number 1, it meets the requirements of a charitable or some other type of institution that would qualify it for an exemption, and to demonstrate the use. So the mere ownership is not going to exempt it from taxes.
Does that include a school? 'Cause I think
That was my
that
next
was a school.
question, a school.
Correct. Any sorts of those, any.
And they would be tax exempt if it was a school?
If it's a school and it's being utilized.
Okay.
And if I may also add to that for the public's information, since we have a gentleman that was at the, my mayor's meeting regarding that same property. We've had an applicant, and I don't know if you're within the 200-foot limit for the planning board. We had an applicant from a firm who has purchased it. Their application is requesting basically a 7-day operation, 10 in the morning till 10 at night, the use of 33 classrooms for piano, dance, language, the arts, and these students are supposedly going to be bussed in. So if you're interested, the planning board meets Tuesday evening. If you would like to come, that's probably on the agenda. Oh, it's denied.
It was denied
It was
already.
denied.
Denied.
But I have a feeling they'll be coming back. But do you see how, when we were worried about the low-income housing and losing the tax rateable, but we still won't be losing it 100%. Here we had an entity come in, and they could potentially have become a property where we would have lost another rateable. Thank you, Anthony, for bringing that up.
Old business, this thing right here. The health insurance, in terms of, it was brought up about an increase, and I said last month that there wasn't. Well, we were here till, 11 o'clock on Tuesday night, and we interviewed 4 different firms that were proposing to be our broker of record for health insurance, and I think it's clear that at a minimum, there will be 0 increase, and we're hoping to get a decrease with Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield. In terms of United Water, they originally started with 18%. I think they're down to, they've said they would accept six and change. That still has to go to the BPU for them to maybe approve it. And I think our town was one of the first to prepare and send a resolution condemning the high increase in the water rates. And I think our position, along with other municipalities, and actually there's other municipalities that are still joining the gang right now and sending in resolutions at this point. But I think we kind of may have been at the forefront and started that ball rolling. And I think that actions from this town and other towns like it probably went a long way to get United Water to consider reducing their, what I think would be an outrageous increase to pass along to the consumers. I guess we're on old, right? The police, it's old business, right? In regard to the police, hopefully we'll get them in by the end of the year. And hopefully, we did have a very constructive meeting, and we have had meetings with the chief and the deputy chief, a number of meetings about patrolmen and getting their input. There's been reports submitted, so, the fact that what's been reported, that we haven't had any contact with them is just wrong. They were in here for our public safety director and Deputy Chief White. It was closed session, but, they were in here. We had a very constructive meeting, and we'll hopefully by, things always take longer than we say it will. Let's put it that way. But hopefully by the first quarter, by the end of the first quarter of 2014, we'll have 5 or 6 new police officers over and above what we have now. In terms of our town being in danger, I don't recall any crime wave happening in Saddlebrook in the last 2 years. We have mutual aid, and yeah, Garfield will help us, just like we will help Garfield. Elmwood Park, Rochelle Park, we're all in this together. And if they need some backup, we'll be there. And you saw that with the shooter, or the active shooter over at the plaza. We had some of our guys there. There were 400 people there. But certainly, everyone's in this, all the law enforcement people are in it to help each other. So when we need somebody, Bergen County Police will come and help us. Sheriff Department will come and help us. We weathered the storm, and hopefully everything will be right. And hopefully the 6 extra people, it's not gonna be, we can put them in different places, and we can get back to a full police force. So like I said, we weathered the storm, and we came out of it okay. And I just have a couple of questions. I mean, when someone comes in and they say all these things, and they were here before, I sit back and let people talk. But I just want to know, the gentleman argued about the tax increases. No one wants their taxes to go up, but everyone's does. And his, I calculated, I think our municipal portion of the taxes, I think he got a 3% increase. So, I mean, I understand. He has a house that's valued over $500,000. He's paying a decent amount of taxes, I will admit, just like I'm paying around the same thing, so. But he did go up about 3% in terms of the municipal part of it. But, correct me if I'm wrong, when former council president was here, were there tax increases? Or did taxes go down when he was council
I believe they
president?
went up. It was increased.
The crossing guards, that money wasn't collected while he was council president,
That money wasn't collected from around 2006.
and he was council president at that time?
Right.
Right? All right. And I think there was talk the other day, he didn't bring it up now, but the agenda, he wants something about the agendas to be posted online or, you know,
No, on the
days
bulletin
before,
board.
or bulletins or whatever. Was that done during the time he was on council president?
I've never done that.
Okay. And you know, the argument on the one hand about police and public safety, and then to, I think, have the audacity to come in and just question the fact that we, I don't say we, yes, council, mayor, administration, whoever you want to call it, the town, through these people, allowed the Bergen County Sheriff's Department to conduct a,
Training.
you know, a training exercise at a facility that was not being used and owned by the town. I think we should, I mean, they should be commended for getting the extra work.
Training.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with what we did. And I just, correct me if I'm wrong, the fire department has been going into abandoned houses in Saddlebrook for years, correct?
Correct.
Did
And
we
this-
get formal resolutions for that?
No.
While
No. We
somebody
get a
was the council
certificate of
president?
Insurance, it doesn't fall under the purview of the council for resolution, absolutely not.
And Andy, if I may add to that,
Mhm.
the sheriff's department were in there doing active shooter training, which just took place 2 months ago or a month ago at the plaza. So why not let them use it? If it's available and they're not gonna damage the building, let them go in there.
Because we don't want it, the residents don't like it, or we don't want it. I mean, when I come home from work.
Excuse me.
I don't wanna see.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, I mean.
I'm sorry.
They told you about it, but
Excuse me,
I like to express
this
my-
is our time to talk. You had your 10 minutes to speak, this is
Well,
our,
you know, you
this
said
is
that.
our time to talk, so excuse me.
It's just not fair. What
Okay,
you're doing is not fair.
that's your personal opinion.
Oh, it certainly is.
Okay,
Yeah, old business, I know, Mr. Sudo doesn't like the senior housing, and I appreciate that, he lives in the neighborhood. But, listen, it's not something that we just threw out there. I think this, at the end of the day, Emil, I think that when this thing is built, I think that you're going to say it was the right thing to do.
No, I totally
I know
disagree,
now,
Andy, I'm
I
sorry.
know.
You have property set aside for this. Put it there. Don't put it in my neighborhood.
I'm just giving my,
Okay.
it's my time
Here we
to give
go
my
again.
opinion.
And
I'm
you
just,
don't- wait a second.
All right.
I am
Sorry,
just
But
asking.
this is really bothering me. You guys had a meeting on this. The whole entire neighborhood showed up. Everyone there was against it.
Okay.
But still you pushed this through. Why are you doing
thank you,
this to us?
Mr. Sudo, thank you.
We mean nothing. You guys control everything.
at the end of the day, again, I believe that this is good for the town, good for the
It's not- it's
people.
not good for the-
All right, Mr. Sudo, enough now. You had your chance to speak, now please calm down and stop, or
Okay,
leave,
you mentioned
or
me, I'm
leave,
sorry.
okay?
I've
You
had,
didn't mention my name, did you?
I've had at least 5 people come up to me saying, when is that thing gonna be built? My mom, my grandmother,
I'll
my
give you
aunt.
75.
All right, enough. Mr. Searle, can you please leave? I'm asking you to please. If you don't, I'll just close the meeting right now. I need a motion to close this meeting right now. That's it.
Need a motion to adjourn.
I need a motion to adjourn.
Then you can talk.
No? Okay.
You know, there are other ways to handle disruptive members of the public, besides closing the meeting. So that's why I will not make that motion.
Okay.
In terms of old business, I got some things for new business, but that's my say on old business.
Any other old business? Okay, to new business.
New business,
Please don't use any names. Okay?
computers, IBM, Bill Gates. We're getting new computers for the police department. Okay,
Correct.
they've asked for it, we're getting it for them. And again, somebody comes up and talks about spending money, and, at the same time, we need more cops, we need this, we need that. But when we do something, like get more cops, spend money on more cops, get computers for the police department, we get criticized there. So, again, I take all this criticism with a grain of salt. We also, I was happy to see that we got a grant, which was about 20% of the cost for the new vests. So we did get a grant, we're paying 80%, but we did get some free money in there. And that's all I have on new business.
Any other new business?
Just a reminder to the public, if I may, through the chair. This Saturday evening, Junior Girl Scout Troop is having a memorial service at the First Reformed Church at 7 o'clock. So I'm hoping the public will be there participating, and also these girls have visited Connecticut. They've met with the families that suffered the losses. So this is near and dear to their heart, what they're doing. They'll be making special bracelets to give out to those that attend. And also, we really this year are in need of food. We have 2 food pantries, one at the First Reformed Church, one on Midland Avenue, the northern end of Midland Avenue. So if you can bring any food, if you're attending the service, and if you're not attending the service, that church is always there. The town hall is open here, so I'm asking you to open up your hearts. There's so many hungry people out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other new business? I just want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, too. Thank you. Council comments?
Well, do you have anything to report for the public?
Just so for the council president and the mayor and the council, I sent 2 emails to the county as we were sitting here using this. One was the left-hand turn on Caldwell again. I sent it to Mr. Femia and Mr. Ascoli saying, please contact my office tomorrow morning or I will contact yours. And as far as the stop sign, I sent an email to Mike Calderon with the stop sign on Wilson. And I also sent a copy to my staff saying, pull up the regulations to see whether or not you can or can't do that if it is actually there.
And also, if I may add to that, the left turn signal for Caldwell Rock daily. I mean, even today, I had left the store about 3 o'clock. The crossing guards were having a very hard time.
It needs to get.
Because heading west, no one has a chance to get that left-hand turn.
The equipment is there.
I know it's there. That's what's killing us.
The equipment is there.
It's there and it's
when
not.
it was designed. The county.
Can we collectively put more pressure on them than you? What do you want me to do? Go down there? Do you want us to send a letter?
Call tomorrow, or we'll go there. I'll set up a meeting and we'll go.
That's fine. I'll be available.
May I, through the chair?
Make
2
myself
engineering questions.
available.
We talked about it on Tuesday, but those, I don't know what you call them, the yellow lines that have those dueling arrows that are right near the old A&P, the
Yes.
Dollar General. Well, I didn't believe her, but my wife said, hey, this is crazy. So I went down there with her, and she says, look, it is. If you go into that middle section, like that island, and you want to make a left turn into Dollar General, I mean, you've got those dueling arrows. So you figure I can make a left turn into Dollar General. However, you're faced with a sign that's placed there saying no left turn into driveway. So
I sent an email on Tuesday night, right from the
because I
council
talked to Mr.
chambers.
Femia, I was at a social event, and I saw him, I said,
I
you know,
actually
you
said
gotta do something.
that Councilman Simaluka mentioned this to
There
me.
you go. I'll name drop a little bit.
And could you take care of this immediately?
The other thing was, did we ever get anything from the county about alternative number 9? We talked about that. The county is looking at the 4-way intersection between Market.
Councilman?
What is it? Yes.
An email was sent.
So people know what we're talking
An
about.
email was sent.
Ashbet. Okay.
Was sent. Mr.
Okay.
Femia responded to Mr. Ladico and myself,
And
to the engineer to forward us the plan.
do we have?
We're
it
still
yet?
waiting.
We're still waiting?
Yes.
Okay. And for the public's knowledge, we've talked about this a number of times. There's a 4-way intersection, Rochelle Avenue, Main Street in Lodi, Market Street, Saddlebrook, Essex Street in Maywood. I think that's
Lodi-Rochelle Park.
considered Maywood.
No, it's Lodi-Rochelle Park.
Lodi. Lodi,
The
Rochelle
one
Park.
coming westbound on Mark.
Essex Street is Lodi-Rochelle Park.
Yeah.
Lodi, Rochelle
Okay.
Park.
Okay. And I attended that first meeting, and we all agreed, or, you know, that all four legs of that intersection have to have left turn only lanes in order to work. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. You're gonna get traffic backed up. If you wanna go through Market Street at, 9 o'clock in the morning, you're backed up past Ed's. So,
Yeah, it's-
I know they sent us something saying, hey, alternative number 9 is what we came up with, but, they never sent us what alternative number 9 was. So they asked for a resolution to approve it, and obviously, I would never sign anything like that because they didn't give us what they want us to approve.
That is correct.
All right, so we have another meeting on the 30th, maybe, hopefully by then.
I mean, I'll reach out, I'll send another email tomorrow, but we didn't do the, I mean,
It's the county, I know.
It's the
No,
county.
just
And the federal,
Bust the chops. that's all.
federal funds.
well, it's federal funds. They have $3.4 million or
And they have
$3.6
to
million, and they
utilize
have to
it.
go through
Yeah.
this.
To do a study or
No,
to
no.
fix it.
No,
It's
no.
actually, they need to go through this public portion in order to secure the funding.
Otherwise, they lose the
Or they
funding.
lose, right, they lose the funding.
And we are in desperate need of that
Right.
intersection improvement.
Any other council comments?
I'd just like to congratulate Bill Haverson on his promotion. Congratulate the wonderful soccer team that was in here, the coaches, the parents. And my football team, to all my players. I'm always here for you too, guys. If you ever need anything, give me a call, and I wish you all the success in your future. And I just would like to say Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays, and let's all have a happy and healthy New Year. Thank you.
Just quickly, again, congratulations, obviously, to everyone who was honored here tonight. The girls, I think besides, I asked Vinnie Penzato what the tie was, because I think they were 9-0-1, and the tie was a 3-3 tie. So I think the scores came out to, 42-2 or something like that, which is like Manchester United. It's crazy, so good for them. Your
They
team,
were
similar, it was like the 85 Bears, just crushing teams, and I had the privilege of doing the play-by-play of that
Thank
game,
you
and
for
they
doing
were,
that too, Andrew.
they were awesome, and the kids afterwards were just unbelievably happy. I know my son, Larry's son, they went through a Super Bowl winning season, and listen, when I did the yearbook for the seniors for high school, and we asked the senior players what their favorite moment in football was, I think 90% of them said winning the Super Bowl 4 years before. So it's a great thing for them. Lieutenant Havison's, it's a well-deserved promotion, and something that kind of got buried in our consent agenda was Eileen Pinto, who is in the Violations Bureau, just received her certification to be certified as a municipal court administrator. So congratulations to Eileen. And obviously, Merry Christmas to everyone. Have a Happy New Year.
I too would like to congratulate all our honorees that were here this evening. For a small town, we are so very proud of our entire rec program. They always manage to excel. So very proud of all our children. And I'd like to wish everyone a happy and healthy Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy holiday. Thank you.
Okay, I too want to congratulate all the honorees this evening. You did a fantastic job with the sporting events, and Billy, good luck. And to all the police officers out there, stay safe. Everyone have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, safe New Year. We'll see you next year.
So I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
There you go, it's Mr. Simaluka.
Second.